Well, welcome back. This is the continuation of the Click 11 video. This is video number 12. Click 11 actually was so big I had to split it in two parts because there was a lot of fine details to include about the Seymour Micro HMI and connecting it back into the Click. So let's keep moving forward. All right, on the computer, I'm back online. Go to Monitor. Now, on the data view, I've set up, this is the data view that I had before when we just had Click 8, we're just talking about the looms. And close that. I also have another data view monitor, data view number 2, that I've set up for this video, Click 11. You see I have some text tags set up in here. These are always going to be an ASCII value. I have two sets. One is A, B, C, D through H, and another one is says let's go. We'll be using these on some of the displays for the text. This is so I can turn on and off the bits that we set for turning the lamps on and off, visibility, and so forth. Message number, this will go back to what we're going to be looking at in the messages. And the analog display goes to the one graph. So with that in mind, let's go back and go to the next screen. I'll press F5. Fixed text. All right, that's the fixed text. It doesn't do anything. So if I click over on the micro over here, go back to my text screen, the fixed text, you can see over here, all it says is it's fixed text 1. I have fixed text written in here is what I want it to display, and there's nothing fancy about it. That's it. My alignment is center, top center, left, right center, vertical center. That's it, the default. I say OK. So the next one says let's go. And you can see over here on the development screen, it says lookup text. So let's go to the details on that one. The details on that one is it's a lookup text. That's the type of it. The default is a lookup text if it doesn't have any information going to it. The tag name it's associated with is my message. Well, my message is a DS100. It's an unsigned integer. So let's go to, close this. Let's go to our database, a tag name database, and put it in name order so it makes it easier to find. My message right here, you can see it's an unsigned integer DS100. All right, let me go back to the PLC. Come on, get into the PLC. My message I don't have in here, do I? Oh, yes, I do. I called it message number here, not my message. Message number, and I have it set at message number 7. All right, I can change this value. Let me change this value to a 1, for example. Now, look at the display. The display says message 1. If I change this now to a 2, it's gone to a 2. And look at the display. It says Loom 1 fault. So, where's this information coming from? As I change this number, let me go back into the Seymour Micro software. You can see, let me close this one, and go to a database called a message database. And here you can see I have 7 messages, but these are my messages over here. Message number 1 says message 1. Right now we're on message 2, and it says Loom 1 fault. So I can set these for whatever I want to. And I think I can have 99 messages here. Anyway, so I have Loom 5, message number 5 is Loom 4 fault. Message number 6 says hello, but message number 7 is a string. Click on this one, for example, and it tells me what the string is. Okay, it tells me right here there's message number 7, text color, text size, and so forth. But if I come in here and click on this, where the string is, it's telling me that it's embedded data is in the string, and the tag name is mytext2. So, let me close all this, close. I'll go into the tag name database. I know this is a lot of going back and forth. and get down to my text 2 right here is an ASCII string, and it starts off at TX10. Now we'll have to talk about ASCII strings here just a little bit. If I go in to edit this one, my name is the same, yes, my text 2. The data type is an ASCII string. The number of characters is 8. I could have anywhere from 2 to 40 characters in this string. The address in the PLC, the memory type is TXT. That tells me it's going to be an ASCII text. And the address is number 10. That's the starting address. Now these characters are ASCII, and ASCII uses a half word. Well, the addressing, the way this goes and grabs words and brings them back, is in full words. It does not bring half words or bytes. So if I were to change this, for example, to a 9 and tell it to apply, it says error, number of characters must be even and valid range is 2 to 40. Okay, that means I must have whole words when I bring this over. I can't bring over partial words. So I'll take this back down to 8. I'll close it. So now you can see this information is going to come from text 10. Well, let me cancel from this and go into the PLC side. And you can see here text 10, if you can see this very well. The first letter is an L. Then at text 11 is the next letter is E. It's L-E-T apostrophe S space. And now for this space, I actually, and the value I wanted to put in there, I actually pressed the space key, and then I told it to write the value in. But a space actually operates as a space. It's an ASCII value of 32. So now my message number is a 2. Let me change that to a 7 and see what happens. It's a 7. Now let's look at the display. The display now says, let's go. So whatever I've got in there, I can tell it to pull something from an ASCII string, or I can tell it to take a fixed message that I already have on the message screen. What if I try something 8? Different 8. It doesn't, there is no message 8. Going back to message number 1, and it says message 1. So you can have different messages come up on a screen with this. Say, for example, there's an alarm. You can have something that blinks on and off. Maybe you take your visual bit, a C20 or whatever you want it to make, and you make it blink on and off every second so that it's blinking on and off saying loom 1 fault, loom 1 fault, loom 1 fault. I think that's enough of that. All right, let's look at dynamic text, the next one. Dynamic text, this is trigger off of C20, and the string name is my text. So if we go into my text over here, we see it's an ASCII string and it starts with text 1. All right, let's go back and look at what we did before with the tag name base. Tag name, let's see here. This was my text. And it starts off at text address number 1. It's 8 characters as well. Go into the PLC to my display that I have here. Starting off at text address 1, I have A through H. So that's what's going to show up on this one right here. Right now on the screen, there's nothing showing. I went back into the PLC and I turned on C20. Now it says whatever my text is, whatever's in that tag, which is 8 ASCII characters, and it's just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, let's see what happens now if I just go into my PLC and I tell it the E is now going to be an H. See, it changed immediately on the display. A, B, C, D, lowercase h, F, G, H. And I tell it the E is now going to be an H. See, it changed immediately on the display. Let's look at the next one that we have on this. What you don't see right now is a scroll one down at the bottom of the screen. Nothing is showing. So if I come back to the development, let's see what I've got there. I have an option here, visibility with C23. All right, this is what it's going to be saying right here. This is the message I put in there. Move up, down, all around. So that's what it's going to be showing. It's going to be just scrolling across because this is a scroll text. Okay, let me go into, what did I say? C23. Back into the PLC. On C23, I'll turn this one on. And look, now it's scrolling. And look, now it's scrolling. Scrolling one character at a time, going across. Now, if I'm in the See More micro, and I look at the options that I have here, I don't have an option here for how fast it's going to scroll. All it does is just going to scroll just exactly like what you see, one character at a time, continually moving right to left. I could put a label on it if I wanted to. I could add more characters on there. But really, that's about it. Going to the next screen. Now, right now, I have Loom 1 highlighted, and Loom 1 is turned on. See what that one was? That was C20. If I remember right, I had those C20, C21, and C22. So let's go into the PLC and turn those on. See the next one turned on as I turned on, and I'll turn on C22, turn off C21. You see how that's working there? It's showing me the status of it, whether it's turned on or off. Let's take a look at the next screen, the graph screen. Now on the graph screen right now it's showing it looks like about a 20. And if I go back into the PLC, I can see the analog display DS101 is 20. So if I change that value to say 35, I'll write that down into the PLC, immediately the needle changes to 35. So this is fairly straightforward as well. Make it a 75. And immediately it goes to 75. So if you have an analog value that's changing, say for example a tank level or something like this, when you're up, you can just continually be updating that DS101 value, and the needle would continually move to whatever the tank level is if you wanted to set it up that way. What's on the next screen? The indicator lamps. All right, the first one here, if you remember, has a visibility control with the C24, the lamp indicator button. So we set it up so that it's on and visible only when C24 lamp indicator is turned on. So if the lamp indicator is turned on, then you can see it. Otherwise, you're not going to see anything. It will be transparent. Whereas the second one, the one in the middle, if C24 is turned on, you will see it, but it will always be visible. There's nothing to tell it for visibility control. So, and the last one here also, we set it to work on the C24 as well, and we didn't put any visibility with it either. So, let's go back into the PLC, play with C24 here and see what happens. Right now C24 is off. You turn it on. And you see what happens to each of them. You see all of them completely right now. If I turn it off, the one on the left disappears. The one in the middle indicates that it's in the off position, and so does the one on the right side. Let's go to the next screen. Oh yes, this one. On the face, if you remember, we did a little visibility right there with C24 as well, on and off to swap out the mouth. So let's go back into the PLC. C24 right now is off. Turn it on. That's just to show you that you can group something together and just play around with something like this. All right. Well, there's one last thing. Let's look at screen number 7. We're not going to download this one, so we're just going to play with it here on the development screen. The object is going to be system function. And put it right here. On this, you can see, no, on ours, don't forget, we've got 5 function keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is how they're showing up right now. They will show up on the screen. See this? So if I give it an action, say I want it to go to a different screen, always if you do this one, I can tell it which screen to go through. And it gives me all my choices, all the screens that I have. And then the default things such as the power-up screen, forward, previous, which don't really mean a whole lot on this little device. Increment and decrement. Go to the, see, now this is something new that we don't have available if we put a button on the screen. We don't have the increment and decrement available. So increment does go up to the next screen. I could take F2 over here and make it screen change as well and make it go decrement. That would go to the screen below. So now then, don't have to put anything on any of these over here. On the LEDs, here's where if I want to program that little LED that's each function light, I can control the LEDs as well. Now I can control it either by a bit word like this. That's one way of doing it, where I have a word. It'll be a 16-bit word because this would be the 16 bits. Bit 0 then would be F1, bit 2, bit 3, bit 4, bit 5 then would be bit 4 would be F5. So whatever I have in those, or 1s or a 0, would mean that LED is turned on or off. So you could do that by different functions in your PLC. You can have it by the default is controlled by button, or you could have it controlled by the PLC itself. And if it is, then you have to put a tag word in here for this. And it has to be a DS. So any of these that we have that are DS, all these are DS because it's the only ones that are showing up to select from. And then I can come in here and move this around as I want to. And then, so that's the last thing that I want to show you on this video. All right, so that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next time.